Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, Anita Finley.
Well, I know where I'm going to see Elvis. That's right. It's Chris Macdonald's Memories of Elvis in concert. And he is on a national tour. He does this all over. And for anyone who's seen it, they just can't stop singing. In fact, I have to say, I was talking to our friend here at the station, and he and I both agreed that some music comes and goes, but Elvis music never does leave, especially when it's sung by someone that's such a professional, Chris. So I'm really happy. Yeah, I'm happy that you're carrying forth with his, with his music. It's never going to die, I don't think.
No, it's timeless, and what's nice about it, I call the show Chris Macdonald's Memories of Elvis. It's about sharing those memories. Everybody has some memory of whether it's an Elvis song or the Elvis movies, or even the holiday music. Maybe their grandparents, their mothers, their aunts and uncles. They got into it themselves. Through their family members. It's kind of a generational thing that just keeps going and going because it's timeless. Same thing. Frank Sinatra too. I mean, that's something that's timeless also. When it's good, it's good. That's the way it should be.
That's right. And so, let's see. If you weren't Elvis, if you weren't doing this Memories of Elvis, who would you be doing?
Well, this is kind of, my mom got me into this music, got me into this stuff as a little kid. Elvis was gone before I could see him. Generationally, I'm not in that generation, and my mom's really what got me into it. I was able to listen to the music. She had records. She sat me down in front of the TV set, and we'd watch the old movies. They'd come on Turner Network or TNT, one of those.
Right.
And we'd watch the old movies as a kid, and he was cool. It was just really simple. Even as a little kid, you're watching that stuff. I had sports heroes too. I played football and loved all kinds of sports. But he came on and he was cool. He'd beat up the bad guy. He'd win the race, and he had beautiful women in bikinis chasing him. And even as an infant child baby kind of thing, when you watch those movies, something stirs in you. It's like, that's pretty cool. That's not a bad gig. Get to sing rock and roll and be cool and get all the ladies. It sounded like a really good thing, and that's what got me into it originally. And then I started listening to the music. I started kind of studying the career, and went about it as a historian also. I actually had a radio show for a while too, locally in Fort Lauderdale on one of the stations, and it was called Memories of Elvis Radio Hour. And I would play music, I'd sing live, I'd also talk about what Elvis did, and I'd have guests on from the Jordanaires, or Elvis's drummer, DJ Fontana, and we talk about the career. So I actually, got into this kind of to preserve what Elvis gave us through his incredible career. I mean, legendary career. Music in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, films, television. He's actually what they're looking for now with all these shows, American Idol, The Voice, all these shows. They're looking for that triple threat, that entertainer that's going to last, forever when it comes to his music and his legacy. And so that's how I got into this. I'm a fan of the music. I know who I am. I'm not Elvis. I do an Elvis tribute. It's not an overdone impersonation. The vocals are very naturally similar to Elvis. The look, the moves are natural to me, yet are similar to Elvis, but I've made them my own. So it's and we talk about what Elvis did during the show. I don't say I did this, I did that. I'm never that kind of a show. We always present it, in tribute to what he did, with his career. So I think people really relate to it. Instead of just a campy, overdone impersonation, it's not like that. It's a true tribute to the life and music of an incredible entertainer.
Okay.
Boy, I talk a lot, don't I? Sorry about that.
No, I want you to. I loved it. In fact, I was going to say to you, of all the times we've had these conversations, you never told me you had a radio show in Fort Lauderdale with Elvis.
Yeah, I did some stuff with, I think it's WFTL or one of those stations. It was a radio show that I had. I started off, I think, with another channel, and then it developed into that. I really enjoyed doing it. I could only do it for a little bit. I would do it like on a Sunday night after Ken Held's Doo-Wop Shop. He's a gentleman who we know really well. So I did that show for a while, and it just got too much to do in studio, traveling, with all the show and everything. So it got to be too much. But I have a lot of great shows recorded, a lot of programs that I recorded that I have in files and everything. And if I ever get to do it again, I would love to do it.
Are they transferable? I mean, can I see one or hear one, or how would I'd love to do that.
Well, I actually thought about uploading those to my website, which will probably happen. And
Good.
as soon as I do that, I'll go ahead and let you know. And
Good.
This way, everybody can take a listen. The shows are a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and got to speak with Ray Walker from the Jordanaires, the original Jordanaires. DJ Fontana did an interview, and other people from Elvis's career came on to speak with me by phone, and it was really enjoyable. I had a good time with it.
Well, I am really impressed. I mean, I've been impressed with you, but see, you really feel it, you live it, you're really something. So now my next question, though, about this is, so after the show, do the women come and bombard you?
We do have energetic enthusiasm after the shows and during the shows. So, I hand out scarves, too, during the show, and I hand out Hawaiian leis when we do those songs from Blue Hawaii, Can I'm Falling in Love.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage, people to come up to the stage, and it's very interactive. It's fun. We want to bring you back in time for a few moments. Maybe you're 16 years old or something, or 17 years old when you saw them the first time, or whatever age you were. We want to bring you back in time, and during the show, that's what we want. We want you to feel good. We want you to feel good and get away from things for a moment. That's what it's all about.
Okay, so that being said, is there another person that's going to come after you to play Elvis, let's say when you're in your 90s?
Oh, wow. That's a long way from now. But, there's a bunch of people out there that love Elvis and do shows and do their own thing and do their own way of doing Elvis. I mean, he's one of those people that I think people are going to want to do tributes to him for a long time. Same thing with Frank Sinatra. I mean, there's a lot of those shows out there too. And when it comes to legendary icons of music, I believe that stands the test of time. I mean, that's our art form. Elvis was the gift to the world. It was rock and roll. Our gift to the world. It came from this country, rock and roll. And even John Lennon of the Beatles said, "Before Elvis, there was nothing." That's a quote from him. So a lot of people, owe it to that. They owe it to, of course, Chuck Berry and Little Richard and B.B. King and all the legendary blues artists that influenced Elvis and other rock and roll entertainers. It's all Little Richard. It's all a part of our history, and that stuff goes on.
So, is there a female singer who, other than, I guess, Barbra Streisand would be one of those, wouldn't she? That.
Oh, absolutely. And
who else would you think would fall into that? I can't think of anyone.
I would think, when it comes to like Aretha Franklin, that's music that'll stand. That's her signature too. That time, Diana Ross, the Supremes, that kind of music that was generation that marked a generation in the '60s. Also, that was an epitome of that. And there's plenty of country artists out there too that'll stand the test of time. Their music, I believe, even now there's some out there that are presenting a lot of great music. Even Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is a new generation, but she connects with her audience. She connects with their feelings. She lets all her feelings out. That's for sure.
Yes, that's true.
Through her songs.
Yes,
and that's what people want. People want to connect with a song. a song is about emotion. A song is about feelings. A song about a point of time in your life, whatever it may be. So that's what you're doing as an artist. You're connecting with your audience through your songs. So if you can do that, I think it'll stand the test of time, whatever you do.
So that being said, which song, I don't know if maybe I asked you this before, I don't remember, which song of all the Elvis songs connects you to your audience?
Wow.
I must not have asked you this before.
That's a big question.
I know it.
Yeah. I love all the music. I love doing the rock and roll stuff. I love doing the ballads. But I think probably I might have to give you a couple.
Okay.
Two songs, maybe the ballad premise. The fast ones are great. I mean, you can do as many Jailhouse Rock, Heartbreak, Don't Be Cruel, all those fun songs. But when it comes to, I think, connecting, I think a song like Can't Help Falling in Love.
Oh, it's my favorite.
It's probably one of my favorite ones to do, and it's one of the favorite songs. And also, what I connect really well with, too, is it's a favorite song. My grandfather, who's no longer with us, he helped raise me, is Elvis's version of My Way. And that particular song I love to do in concert, and it has a lot of meaning.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. I mean, Elvis did My Way?
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact,
why don't I remember that? How does it go a little bit?
It's the same. It's just a standard version, but his emotion that he puts in it, and also he really does a bigger end note than Frank did. Kind of a really big, powerful note. So if you ever have a chance, we're going to do it in the show.
Good. Okay, yeah, so I'll see it then.
Yeah, at the January 10th show. Well, actually, January 9th, we're in Coral Springs at the Coral Springs Center for the Arts on January 9th. It's an 8 o'clock show. And then we're also at the Kravis Center, which is the one you were talking about going to. Mm-hmm. That's on January 10th. And that particular venue, the Rinker Playhouse, the intimate venue there, we're doing a matinee at 1:30 and also a 7 p.m. evening show at the Kravis Center. Yeah,
I want everyone to really go buy those tickets because it will put you in a different frame of mind for, how long is your show, about 2 hours?
At least. Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. What we do is, we also put an intermission in there, of course. We do the first half of the show is a good, 50 minutes, 50 minutes or so, the first half of the show. And that's the kind of the 50s, the movies, that black leather 68 comeback. That's that part of the show. Then we take an intermission and come back and we do that white fringe outfit for the 70s. All those songs like Burnin' Love and Wonder of You, Suspicious Minds, My Way, American Trilogy, all those great songs, In the Ghetto, and, all that stuff. So that's the second half of the show. So we want to give you your money's worth. I want to make sure you're entertained. And he had such a huge career that you can't really leave out any portion of it and represent what he did. He's just, those movie songs are great too. Can't Help Falling in Love, which is from one of the movies, Return to Sender, Viva Las Vegas, Jailhouse Rock, those are all movie songs too. So even though they weren't Academy Award-winning films, possibly, he had fun with them, and it was kind of like a video, for all of his music. What they do today, they have videos out there. These movies were the first videos. It was a vehicle for Elvis to show the world his image and his charisma. Yeah,
especially since he actually went into service. How many singers would do that?
Exactly. He was in the Army, and one of the things that actually it helped his career too, of course. At the time there, he was the rebel rocker there in the 50s, and they were a little concerned about him. They cut him off at the waist on the Ed Sullivan Show. It was too sexual, all this stuff, all this wild stuff back then.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he goes into the Army and he serves his country, and he's actually a nice guy. It was a good thing for him. And GI Blues, one of the movies that came out after that, was a great movie. It was a lot of fun, and it made a lot of money.
Well, he was very talented in many ways. Besides singing, you have to act. The whole actually, the performance is an act. It's a performance, but
sure.
A lot of singers, they stand there, they hold the mic, but he was an actor.
Yes, that's what it is. It's about taking those words that are in those songs and delivering them with the emotion that the writer presented the songs. And that's the key to entertaining. That's the key to connecting with your audience. And yeah, that's what he was able to do, because he could do that singing. He was able to do that when he was in those films. You know, the scripts and everything were formulas, but he was entertaining in those movies. Matter of fact, his sense of humor and he was funny. His timing was great. He would even say something and kind of like smile and laugh at what he said, like a little smirk, because he knew how ridiculous it was, but it was like he was kind of acknowledging it, and it was funny. That's what made it entertaining. And I think that's what you're doing when you're making those films. You're trying to entertain your audience, and really that's who he was. And maybe sometimes critics, look at you one way, but sometimes there's nothing wrong with a film that just makes you feel good.
Well, I also want to share with our audience that people don't know what to buy one another. Oh, they go to the sales and they shop, and usually someone returns it or gives it to someone else. But what a wonderful holiday gift this would be. Get yourself as many tickets as you want. You have the choice of January 9th at 8 at the Carl Springs Center for the Arts, or January 10th, either 1:30 or 7 at the Kravis Center, which has the Marshall Rinker Playhouse. I've been there many times, and it's just such a great thing. What a nice gift you could give someone, and you could give teenagers this. It is, this is the kind of a gift that, you could give grandma and grandpa, the teenagers, whatever you have, and they're all going to love it, because I know that it's the person who's actually doing this. Chris Macdonald, as he's told you, this has been his life now. I mean, he understands Elvis so much, and so you just have to close your eyes and you could pretty much hear Elvis Presley on that stage. And we're so privileged to have Chris come on our radio show and to give us the opportunity to make our readers, whom I dearly love, and our radio listeners, this opportunity, because otherwise it's just another ad in a newspaper. But we have him in living color, as to say, on the radio. And of course, there's a great article in the upcoming December issue. You'll see that on page 25, and you will also, of course, see a little picture. You'll see him in that white outfit, in the black leather outfit, and I just can't wait to see it. So let's see. The other question I want you to know is your children. I know we've talked about that before. Do any of them do any of this with you?
No, they're just doing their own thing, and you can't push people in. I just realized that you have to find your passion, and this is my passion, entertaining, and this is what I truly love to do. And you let people pursue their own passions.
But what you don't know is probably when you're not around, they do a little shaking and they do a little singing, and that's the way it is. They don't want to admit anything, but
absolutely. You know how it works. That's how it works. I mean, that's the parent-child relationship.
Yeah, of course. Of course it is. So now something that I do notice, and it's really wonderful, you bring, everywhere you play, you bring an 8-piece band?
Yes, we'll have an 8-piece band, a horn section, a 4-piece horn section, and then a 4-piece rhythm section. And I have 2 girl dancers that will come out during different parts of the show for certain songs, some of the movie songs and some of the 50s and some of the 70s, and they have choreography that they do to the music and costume changes. So,
did Elvis have dancers?
Well, he had the dancers in the movies.
Ah.
The movies, if you watch any of the Elvis movies, there's always girls dancing in them. So what I did is to kind of capture that kind of feel, where you see that movie-like situation. I brought dancers in. I usually either have 2 or 4 dancers, depending on the size of the venue. And we add those to, some of the movie songs like Viva Las Vegas and Girl Happy, or, Jailhouse Rock, where they have dancers. And so, that kind of brings you into that movie. Rockahula, that's another fun song. That's from Blue Hawaii,
right.
Where they wear the grass skirts. And then you got some of the song "Little Less Conversation," where they've got like a sequined mini dress and go-go boots, from that the '60s movies. So that brings you into that era of his career, the movies, where if you didn't see women in those movies, then it wasn't an Elvis movie.
I see. Well, tell me something. Where have you played all over? I mean, do you go to every single place in the United States, the big entertainment centers? Where have you been?
We're trying. I haven't been to Hawaii or Alaska yet, but we've been to quite a few of the states in the United States. We just got back from stuff in New York and Rhode Island, and we're heading to California next week. And then we're doing shows throughout the year, up and down the coast of Florida, then back up into middle area, including Kentucky, and also North Dakota, which I just thought about that when I was looking at some of the schedule. We'll actually be heading to North Dakota also.
Not in the winter. No,
in March.
Oh my, it's going to be cold.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, North Dakota in March is going to be cold. And then Baltimore and we've kind of been Michigan, all over the place, and Vegas, Las Vegas, of course, and Branson. I also performed in Branson.
Oh yeah,
so. Basically wherever they'll have us, we'll go.
Wherever you have you ever played Las Vegas?
Yes, I've been in Las Vegas. I performed there. I also worked for the Legends in Concert Productions, so I was able to perform for them, and also did their theater in Branson, the Legends Theater in Branson.
Yeah, I've been there. So how many years have you been doing this?
I've been doing it for quite a while. I started as interested in it as a little kid, and then not too far after high school, I kind of stumbled into doing some local performances and a couple little, locate bars and locations in South Florida, and it just kind of took off from there. So,
it's been, it's funny.
Basically most of my adult life.
Yeah, people don't really realize what it takes to do what you do. When you think about it, and you're telling me you go to a place like, of course, here it's local, so it's okay. But there are a lot of places. See, we know it's real. We know you're at home because you got your dog barking. It's okay. So,
yeah, it's just a crazy dog bark.
So, but when you think of it, you go from one hotel, you play probably one night, and then you play another night. I mean, how many times in a week would you change locations?
You want to pause this for a second?
Sure. Okay. I'll keep talking about you. Okay, let me just read a couple of things about this. So, actually, with songs and costume changes representing highlights of several stages of Elvis Presley's iconic career, the early years, the movies, the black leather 1968 comeback, the white fringe 1970 Vegas concerts, Chris will share the incredible story of the shy, humble country boy who became the king of rock and roll. So from blue suede shoes to burnin' love, Macdonald aims to give you your money's worth with his heartfelt tribute. The show is not a parody or an overdone impersonation. With natural vocals and a dynamic band, there's a true understanding of what Elvis did best, connecting with his music and the heart of his audience. It's a fun show.
I'm back.
I know. I've been reading.
Okay.
I've been reading. I'm doing fine. And the heart of his audience. So it's a fun show. Chris explains, it's all about music and the memories of Elvis. Right, and I wonder if Elvis had a dog.
Yes, he actually...
Did he?
Had horses, too.
Really?
And, yeah.
Well, one thing about Elvis is he didn't seem to let the money go to his head. It was the people around him, I think, who got him in a bad way, but he always seemed to be humble. Am I right?
Yeah, he was very generous too. I mean, he would donate a lot and give people cars and that needed them. And the situation occurred there with people around him that
right.
They kind of didn't intercede when they should have. He had issues with prescription medication.
Right.
That was, doctors were writing for him back before they had the Betty Ford Clinic, and all the rehab centers and so on. And he, had issues with his sleeping pills and all kinds of stuff. And instead of someone there helping him, they didn't get in the way of it, and they kind of just, kept getting a paycheck kind of thing.
Well, I can see how hard a job it is, and because he was in such demand, and he was, wanted everywhere, and it does take your toll unless you have a very strong family life and you have some real, you don't have some of the issues he had. It must be very difficult to be an entertainer.
It's definitely when it comes to you are traveling a lot as we were talking about, and in and out of town, and it's being as long as you have a situation where you're able to have some structure somehow, and also have for one thing, what I learned from what occurred with Elvis and the tragedy of dying so young and having the issues he had. I myself, from the very early time in life, I've never had a drink in my life. I've never done any drugs. I've never smoked. Completely clean.
Good for you.
All
Good
my
for
life.
You.
And I took what happened to him as kind of a, an indication. Maybe there's things you can learn that you shouldn't be done, and that's one of the choices I made. I had some of that in my family, with an aunt and uncle that had issues, and you see that kind of stuff, and you realize that there's a better way. So that helped me.
Well, I want to ask about your audience again. Do you have mostly people in their 50s or 60s, or are you getting people in their 20s, or what do you see?
We get people of all ages. Of course, the basis of Elvis's career, Elvis would have been 80 years old if you think about it.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. So this is, if you look at it that way, there's a big age span. He had music in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So you're talking about people from their 70s and 80s all the way down to 40s and 50s at least.
And now we're down to no more time. So I am so happy to have had you. I can't wait to see you. Everyone, buy tickets, please. You can go on their website. I guess you can you go to chriselvis.com, and that way you'll be able to see how to get the tickets. But all you have to do is you can call Kravis or Carl Springs Center for the Arts and buy those tickets. Great holiday gifts. Thanks so much, Chris.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.